Oconee State Park, we rode over to Oconee Station, which is a state historic site. It's about a 4-mile hike, almost as the crow flies over the mountain.
We did not do that. We drove.
Yeah, so in order to drive there, you got to drive down into Walhalla and drive back up. It's about a 20-25 minute ride.
But through beautiful scenery. I mean, the mountains are gorgeous.
It's nice. It's a couple historic buildings, and then there's a short hike to Station Cove Falls. You'll want to check it out.
It's about 3/4 of a mile. Perfect.
So while we were at Oconee State Park, we rode over to Oconee Station, State Historic Site. It's about a 4-mile hike over a mountain. We didn't do that. We rode down through Walhalla. It's about a 20-25 minute car ride. Really pretty ride.
Yeah, there's lots of beautiful mountains, and I mean, we're kind of in the transition between winter and spring here, so not a ton of stuff was blooming, but you could still see dogwoods and azaleas and things. And I know that in the spring it would be gorgeous, and in the fall the colors have got to be amazing.
So the State Historic Site was actually an Indian settlement that was called Oconee by the Cherokee. When settlers came in, the Cherokee kind of abandoned that area and retreated further back up into the mountains. So some folks came in and set up camp in the area. One prominent trader, his name was William Richards, kind of set up a camp there in the area.
There was also a militia settlement to protect that boundary. Right there was a boundary of the Cherokee and the settlers.
If I recall correctly from what we saw on the sign, around 1792, the state of South Carolina decided to set up a couple of these along that boundary area because they were being attacked by the Cherokee. So there's the first building that was built on the premises was for that militia.
So it was really like, you can only really see the first floor, but it was very much a storehouse. There was actually like almost a gun safe section,
kind of there, yeah.
Big windows, but it's all, you know, super deep.
And stone.
Cool
that
stone.
particular building is a stone building.
And it's built into the hillside.
Into the hillside. Then next to it was the Williams Richards house. So he was able to build a brick house next to the militia facility, which they said was kind of rare at the time because most homes were log cabins. So for him to have been successful as a trader.
And the signage listed some of the amazing things he had. Just thousands of pounds of deer skins and hundreds of pounds of ginseng root and like 30,000 pounds of deer skins. And so you can see on the front porch there would have been a almost trapdoor opening and stairs down into the cellar, which encompassed even a bigger footprint than the house. So we feel like that was where, you know, all these things would have been stored. But there's actually a picture on the signage of his logbook that detailed everything that he had there. And
so there's not a whole lot to see, just those two buildings and some signs. On Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 5, they do have a ranger that will kind of give you a guided tour and explain things to you. We had to go on Friday, so we didn't get to do that because it was supposed to rain all day Saturday, and it did.
It did. But there is definitely a place, like if you were having a school group or something, because it had, down by the little small ranger station hut, there was 10 or 12 picnic tables in this nice little shallow area. There was a nature walk
that goes down
right
to
there.
A pond.
And it was just really it was a small space, but it was a very pretty space. And he did say you could specially book larger tours on off Saturday and Sunday days if you had a school group or homeschool group that was doing that.
The reason most people wind up going to Oconee Station, though, is the hike.
The falls.
The Station Cove Falls is a beautiful waterfall at the end of a very short 3/4 mile hike that's rather easy. There wasn't a whole lot of elevation change. There wasn't a lot of steps that you had to navigate.
No, it was almost a natural walk, like the way the roots had, people had walked it so much, it was the way the roots did. It was really stepped up and easy to get to. Once you got to the major part of the creek closer to the falls, it was a little more rocky to navigate, but it still was a super easy hike. I mean, the kids were absolutely able to do it. and it was gorgeous. It was an 80-foot waterfall.
And the way that it steps down, you get lots of pretty water splashes. A lot of great foliage along the walk.
Yeah, and even this time of year, I mean, stuff was still starting to bloom, but there was lots of signage telling you about the different things that were blooming.
There's a lot of rare horticulture there that you don't normally get in this part of the world, but because of the valley, because of the water and the cooling from the falls,
They oversplash.
it was really neat. We didn't see a lot of animals. I think some of that is because it was heavily traveled. As we were going in, there were a lot of people who had already gone in that morning and were coming out.
Yeah, there was a lot of foot traffic, and you could tell it was a very highly traveled walk. It's about 3/4 of a mile, so you got up on Saturday morning, wanted to do something, take an animal. It was a beautiful place. And then there's lots of big flat rocks and things kind of at the base of the waterfall. So there were several people that had brought, a snack or a snack lunch. We were kind of sitting around and having a snack. So you can imagine in the summertime it probably was even more so heavily traveled. So you're not going to see a lot of wildlife, but there was some beautiful fauna and flora blooming already.
One thing about that area, the parking for it is a little bit past the entrance to Oconee Station. There's a parking on the left. It's not really well defined parking, so it's kind of
it's a little tight.
First come, first serve for some of the parking.
It looks like there's some more parking a little further down on the road, or you could hike from the actual ranger station. Right. It was just a little bit longer.
It's a 1.5 mile hike to the fall, so you're looking at a 3 mile hike with a little more elevation change. So it changes it from an easy hike to probably a little bit of a moderate hike. Still not hard, but worth it if that's something that you're interested in doing the hiking for. On the way back, coming through Walhalla, it was lunchtime.
I'd done a little bit of research and decided we needed to hit the
Hungry
Hiker. And that had been confirmed by the staff here that said, yes, absolutely, you need to hit the Hungry Hiker.
So it's in downtown Walhalla. It's not on
Main
Street.
Street.
It's Main Street. It's on one of the side roads. There's a parking lot right across the street, so very convenient. Fairly small place. Had some outdoor seating that made it a little more open and available. Neat decor.
Super cool. I mean, it's very hiking, like fishes on the walls, backpacks.
Obviously,
old camp stoves.
it's aimed at folks that are coming to the upstate of South Carolina to be outdoors.
And family run and hikers.
Yeah, it was neat. Put paper down on the table. I'm not sure if that's a normal thing or if that's a COVID thing.
Well, they had
Either
crayons
way.
out too, so the kids could color on the table. The food came fairly fast.
It
It
was
was a small menu, but it was absolutely excellent.
the food was fantastic.
We highly recommend. I had the fish tacos. If they have them on the special, go for the fish tacos.
I had the buffalo chicken grilled cheese sandwich on sourdough bread. It was a shredded chicken with buffalo seasoning with cheese on both sides between the sourdough bread. Oh my gosh. So
Well, and
so
the
flavorful.
Fish tacos had a little, almost oriental seasoning. They had kind of that bok choy cabbage in there. There's fried fish, and then kind of a little sesame seed oil. A little spicy, but not terribly spicy. And
Yeah. The kids had an option of hamburgers, chicken tenders, or grilled cheese. They both opted for the cheeseburger. Y'all, the kids' cheeseburger is better than most places' normal cheeseburger for adults.
yeah, it was huge. It was on a beautiful brioche bun. It was excellent. And the fries had a little seasoning.
Little seasoned fries. Yes.
A little bit batter fry. They were super good. I mean, that could have been a fantastic lunch on its own.
Definitely recommend the Hungry Hiker.
5 stars.
So all in all, we really enjoyed Oconee Station. We would definitely suggest it for anybody who's in the area and you want to get a
We have
hike
some
in.
cameos happening here in the background. Normally our kids are well more occupied during this.
It's a nice little getaway and excursion.
It was a perfect morning or afternoon adventure.
Yep.